Hi everyone, welcome to the class. Let's start with a question. Which of these two piano exercises is the more difficult? This is the first one. I'll play that one more time. Sorry, I was kidding. One more time. Okay, that's the first exercise. This is the second one. Okay, whilst you think about your answer, let's spend about 45 seconds listening to a piece of music. This one. Okay, so you probably recognize that in the second piano exercise, I borrowed it from that piece of music, which is the Piano Prelude in G by Frédéric Chopin, Opus 28, number 3. That's played by Martha Argerich in 1977. I think she's 36 in 1977. She's 78 now. Argentinian piano player. Okay, yeah. Right. So, in some ways, hopefully by now you've already got my answer to the question, to that question that I posed to you. If I ask it to myself, hopefully I've already demonstrated my answer, which is I find the first exercise, which is to say an exercise that I've just devised, I find that much easier than playing the Chopin. So that's best demonstrated now if I try and play the Chopin Prelude at anything like the speed that I arrived at in the third or fourth time that I played the exercise to you. Okay, so if I ended up at about that kind of extreme speed for me, that's definitely extreme for me. I mean, I can't play that well, but if I try and play the Chopin at that speed, so I'm playing 2, 3, 4. And you can hear I'm just nowhere on that, and I'm glad that my piano teachers, all 4 of them, are never going to see this video, because I mean, I'm supposed to have. I'm not even going to go into what I'm supposed to be doing that I'm not doing. Even at that speed, I'm not playing it with the right technique. My fingers are coming way off the keys too early, and I can feel the rap, literally the rap of my piano teacher's knuckles. You know, studying music in 2003 was a completely different time. I think you're allowed to hit students then. Anyway, so I can't play that even remotely as quickly as I can play easier keys, I'm talking about key signatures to play that exercise in. The one on E flat is particularly difficult, that's why I chose it. That's a real stretch. It's a real stretch. The reason I chose that is because in the Chopin piece, you have to go from to this chord, wow, which is really so hard. And then down here. Yeah, I mean, so it's hard with the music flat, etc. It's just hard, like stretches. So I purposefully put this variation here. Any of you that have ever played the piano and played exercises in the key of E flat know that it can be a tricky key to play in. So that is kind of a big stretch. But you know, nothing heroic like Jesus Molina saying, yeah guys, you know. And then he goes up to the F with the C and F. You can do this for a stretch, you know. For practice of stretch. And then he plays the F and the C simultaneously. There's only 2 semitones away from what Rachmaninoff could allegedly span, which was that C to that G. I mean, that's ridiculous. Anyway, in the words of Emily Baird, you're ridiculous. No, you're so good. Hope those guys are married. If they want to be. Anyway, okay, so, Mike, get to your point. Okay, fine. If you're going to rush me, I will. Right. Let's talk about technique. I'll give you a situation. A situation from my own life. One of the things you may have realized is that sometimes I talk about things that I have some experience of. So I try and, you know, bring that in, so real things. Which is that in the 90s, I was a huge fan of the sport basketball. So much so that it kind of dominated my life. I didn't really practice music for 15 years. I practiced basketball, and I was quite good. I played for the Manchester Giants under, it was an age group team, under something. Was it under 16? Might have been under 16s. Yeah, probably was under 16 team in Manchester, which was like a youth version of I guess what was a professional basketball team in Manchester, and I managed to play for them for a little bit, which was quite an achievement for somebody that was really thin, had no height, and had rubbish shoes. Anyway, so I did that, and one of the reasons I was good at basketball was I had a real passion for it, and I loved the game and everything about it. But one of the reasons I did well in terms of qualifying for this team and then kind of holding it down for a bit was I didn't try and do techniques that I couldn't do. I wasn't good at rebounding the ball. I wasn't good at doing defense high up in the air, you know, crashing the boards as it's called. I couldn't slam dunk the ball, which like some of my teammates could do, you know, on the NBA hoop height at that time. I think there were 3 guys that could easily do it. You know, I mean, they were a bit taller, but the important factor there was they could really jump. I could shoot the ball. I had good cardiovascular fitness, and I really, you know, played for the team. I understood what my role could be, and then that was the kind of thing. Of course, it was very easy for me to flick on Channel 4 late at night. I think it was on a Wednesday and a Saturday. Those are the times you couldn't watch around the clock like you can now. It's a very different historical time. But I used to stay up late and watch, and then I was like, all right, there are guys that kind of really fit my kind of physical profile in terms of my weight and height and kind of build, who are really holding it down in the NBA. Yeah, I mean, there are short guys that can dunk, but there are short guys that can't, that can still hold it down. And so I built a technique that works for me. Okay, that's a long analogy. I do apologize for that, but it demonstrates this piano problem brilliantly. Okay, and I want you to think about that in relation to yourselves. Okay, I'm not going to go through the prelude in G major now because that's a piece by Chopin, and if you're interested in it, you will go to it. After hearing Argerich play it like that, if you're not interested, my view is you'll never be interested. Oh, sorry, my friend of the channel's just dropped by, and okay, so you'll never be interested in it if you don't like that from hearing Argerich do it. That's my opinion anyway. But you could correct me if I'm wrong. So I've just curated that for you. I've just brought it in to kind of demonstrate a point, and I think there's a perception that all YouTube music educators do is just curate information rather than present it or create it. Except I wanted to slightly challenge that notion, which is that with piano technique, and of course, we've had videos sponsored by proverbial elephants in the room. I recognize that my piano technique is not the worst piano technique in the world. That is a thing. I'm not the worst piano player in the world. You get my point. I can play a bit, but that's largely by virtue of the fact that I have given myself exercises to do. Yes, I could have tried to jump and train myself to jump so I could do a slam dunk. I did to a certain degree, but then I had to cut loose from that and say, no, that's not, I shouldn't be practicing that. I should be practicing, running hard, finding space, getting open for a clear shot from range, stay away from these tall guys, and shoot from range. And that's how I can really offer the team a lot. And I was good at doing that for a bit. Okay, it's the same in piano. I shouldn't spend all of my time fussing and fighting with this Chopin prelude. I should spend a bit of time with it, but then I should get my own exercises which develop a technique. I shouldn't try and stretch up to that F, because I can tell you right now that that's going to be time wasted. YouTube curation, right? There's a lot on there. I know you guys probably get those moments where you're like, man, why did I just spend an hour watching that? Or at least I hope you don't. That's one of the things I've managed to avoid by trying to curate my behavior in general. Okay, that's another lesson perhaps. Back to my exercise. Okay, that's a C major 9 chord. C, D as a 9 or the 2. I'm going to think of it as a 9 because it's far away from the bass note, which is not going to be C, but anyway, that's by the by. C, I'll just spell the notes. C, D, G, and B. Okay, so that makes like a C major 7 with no 3. So you can call that sus2. C major 7 sus2, or I suppose that is what you'd call it, because it doesn't have the 3. Okay, fine, great. But it's going to be played over F. F major, so that's F, which is going to create F major 6-9 sharp 11. And that's the pattern. I hate when they don't go slow enough. Good. So why do I play a piano exercise like that? Well, when I was studying the piano, the piece that I was best at and the piece that I've played the best of any piano pieces was actually not for solo piano, it's for piano duo, and it went like this. for about 20 minutes. So as you can see, like, weirdly, I was quite good at doing that because I could relate to it in terms of the percussion playing that I was doing. So I was like, all right, I need exercises on the piano that play to that strength, because that is a thing that I can do. That's where I've got value. Oh man, this guy can hold the line. You know, he can play this for a long time repetitively. Yeah. Okay, he's never going to do anything really expressive or beautiful, like harmony or melody wise, or, you know, texturally, but you can give him a simple pattern and he's going to play it, you know, consistently for the next 3 hours. Great. Okay, so similar to this, you know, repetitive movements. We've talked about those a lot. So F, C, A, C, D, G, B natural. Or if I spell it, because then now you can practice this movement in all 12 keys. Root 5, 3rd, 5, 6th, 9th, sharp 11. And I'm finishing that after 3, but you could go through every single chord, you know, in all 12 keys. You know, this is the bit that people crave on YouTube, where the demonstration then just gets totally out of control and just play in all 12 keys incredibly quickly and razz around and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, ultimately, does that really bring the value? You know, I'm really conscious of the fact that, oh man, if it goes viral, then people will latch onto it. Not necessarily the content that goes viral, because that's not that useful in terms of education, but you need that viral hit. You know, you need that hit song so you can get people on board, and then you can feed them what you really want to feed them. Sorry, I'm talking about force feeding, or provide. Anyway, same kind of thing. Cool. So I hope that kind of makes sense. I'm not going to attempt to play that, you know, quickly like Jesus Molina or anything. Because I can't really do that. But you could do that. But I've taught how that exercise works. And also, if you take it in isolation, what a great chord voicing. Which is one that you've heard me play lots of times. And you could explore with the exercises I'm just doing. It could go like this. The left hand could move between the G and the A, or not. Could go up and down, could have repeated fifths. It could do anything. You could explore the melody more. You could have the whole shape going up in the Lydian scale, the F Lydian scale, if you wanted. How would that work? And as you've seen in these videos, I don't sit here for hours and hours and hours and hours and prep it and edit it and then push it out to you like, guys, here's my grand instruction. Okay, we're coming towards the end of quote-unquote term, and I'm thinking on the fly, and I'm trying to have things that are going to go forwards and really help you. So some thoughts about technique there, some thoughts about playing the piano, and some piano exercises. You know, I would suggest that going to find it on E flat, so the shape on E flat, which I'll show you now. So E flat, B flat, G, B flat, C, F natural, A to do, maybe. But of course, you're going to say, hang on a second, you started by saying we've got to come up with our own exercises. Yeah, study a bit of technique from someone else, but then come up with our own. Yeah, that is what I said. I mean, that's what I'm presuming you'll do with this. So, take that red chord. Remember, if you don't think the chord is good, then I'm barking up the wrong tree anyway. But where are you going to take that? How are you going to play that? What I can guarantee, weirdly, and you can kind of hear it a little bit, I find that so much easier than the G major scale that I learnt when I was 5. Okay, cool. I hope that makes sense. Cool. This video was brought to you by, obviously, it's brought to you by the 1990 Chicago Bulls team, featuring Michael Jordan. If you haven't watched The Last Dance on Netflix, what are you doing? You really need to check that out. Okay, we'll close with Argerich. Do check out The Last Dance 10-part documentary on Netflix. You never thought you'd hear me say that. Do check out Marta Argerich. Do check out Chopin. Okay, ciao for now.